The Lagos campus was alive with energy, but Tinu Aidwale had begun to navigate it with growing confidence. Her classes, once intimidating, now felt manageable. She had made a few friends in her department, students who shared her ambitions and values. Together, they discussed assignments, practiced questions, and supported one another through the challenges of university life. One afternoon, after completing a group study session, Tinu returned to her accommodation and smiled at how far she had come. "Lord, thank you for helping me settle in. I feel stronger, more capable, and ready for whatever comes next," she whispered in prayer. She also continued her part-time work, balancing job responsibilities with lectures and study sessions. Her savings grew steadily, and she began planning for books, transport, and future tuition costs, fully aware that independence came with responsibility. Meanwhile, in Abuja, Bayo's dedication at the clinic was noticed by more than just his supervisors. A visiting NGO coordinator approached him during a community health outreach. "Bayo, your commitment to helping patients and teaching health practices is exceptional. We have a scholarship program for students who demonstrate leadership and service. I think you should apply. It could help support your studies and your family indirectly." Bayo's eyes lit up. This opportunity meant that, even from a distance, he could create tangible benefits for his siblings and support them financially if needed. "Lord, thank you for opening this door. Please guide me to make the right decisions and use this to bless my family," he prayed quietly. Back in Abuja, life at Mr. Saviour's household continued to be joyful and bustling. Daniela's laughter filled the rooms, and Mrs. Saviour's pregnancy progressed smoothly. Their home remained a safe, nurturing environment for Bayo, who now felt like a true part of the family. The recent visit from Lola's mother had left a lasting impression, solidifying the trust and gratitude between the families. Lola often reminded Bayo to write occasionally, reinforcing the bond between his foster family and his biological family. Meanwhile, Lola was thriving in her career and relationship. Her teaching job was rewarding, and her relationship with Daniel continued to grow steadily. They had begun discussing plans for meeting her family formally, preparing the way for their marriage. Despite her busy schedule, Lola remained deeply involved in her siblings' lives. She called Tinu frequently to check on her studies and finances, offering advice and encouragement. She also kept in touch with Bayo, celebrating his successes and encouraging him to pursue new opportunities. One quiet evening, after a long day of teaching and mentoring, Lola reflected, "God, thank you for guiding our paths, protecting my siblings, and blessing us with opportunities. I trust you for what is ahead. Tinu's education, Bayo's growth, and my own future with Daniel." Across Lagos and Abuja, the Aidwale siblings were steadily moving forward. Tinu, embracing independence, building confidence, and preparing for university life. Bayo, gaining recognition, leadership experience, and opportunities to support his family financially. Lola, balancing her career, relationship, and role as a guiding sister with wisdom and faith. Though miles apart, their lives were converging in purpose and blessing. God's hand remained present in every decision, every challenge, and every step toward growth, stability, and eventual reunion.
The University of Lagos campus had become familiar to Tinu Aidwale. Each morning, she walked confidently to her lectures, greeted friends, and navigated the bustling city with newfound independence. Her studies were going well. Tinu had discovered that consistent effort, discipline, and prayer were transforming her. She participated actively in class discussions, completed assignments on time, and sought help when needed. Slowly, she was building a strong academic foundation. One afternoon, after finishing a group project, Tinu reflected on her journey so far. "God, thank you for bringing me here safely and for giving me the strength to keep going." Help me continue to excel and make the most of this opportunity. Meanwhile, in Abuja, Beo had exciting news. The NGO coordinator he had met during a community health outreach had approved him for a leadership scholarship. It included funding for some advanced training and a small monthly stipend, which could be sent to help support his siblings if needed. Beo's heart swelled with gratitude. Though he was far from Ibadan, he could now contribute meaningfully to Tinu's education and provide for his family in ways he had only dreamed of before. He immediately called Lola, sharing the news. "Ma, God has opened a door. The scholarship will help me gain more skills, and I can even assist Tinu financially if needed." Lola's voice was full of joy and relief. "Beo, that is amazing. I'm so proud of you. God is truly answering prayers. This will be a great blessing for all of us." Back in Abuja, life at Mr. Savior's household was joyful and busy. Danilo, whose native name is Alani, was growing fast, and the household buzzed with preparations for the new baby. Mr. Savior and his wife welcomed Beo's updates with pride, delighted to see how well he was using the opportunities given to him. Lola's mother had visited again, sharing a heartfelt meal with the family and expressing deep gratitude. The bond between the families continued to grow stronger, providing Tinu and Beo with a sense of security and belonging. Meanwhile, Lola was advancing steadily in her career and personal life. Her teaching job in another state continued to flourish, and she balanced her responsibilities with preparations for her upcoming marriage to Daniel. They had begun visiting her family to make formal arrangements and discuss plans for the wedding. Despite her busy schedule, Lola remained deeply involved with her siblings' lives. She called Tinu regularly, offering encouragement and advice, and checked in with Beo, celebrating his scholarship and guiding him toward opportunities to bless the family. One evening, after planning both wedding details and Tinu's next steps, Lola whispered a prayer. "Lord, thank you for every blessing. Protect my siblings, guide Beo and Tinu in their journeys, and continue to prepare the way for Daniel and me. Let your will be done." Across Lagos and Abuja, the Adewale siblings were flourishing, Tinu, confident, independent, and excelling in her studies. Beo, growing in skill, leadership, and the ability to support his family. Lola, balancing career, marriage preparation.
Tinu had found her rhythm. Her days followed a steady routine. Early mornings filled with quiet prayers, focused study sessions, lectures, and group discussions. She no longer doubted herself during classes. Instead, she listened carefully, asked questions, and participated actively. Her lecturers began to notice her consistency, and her grades reflected the effort she put in. Beyond academics, Tinu was forming meaningful connections. Her roommate, Said, became a close companion, often studying with her late into the night. Kemi invited her to fellowship meetings, where Tinu found spiritual support and encouragement. There was also Yemi, a thoughtful and serious student who often spoke about planning ahead and preparing for life after university. One afternoon, as they sat under a tree after lectures, Yemi asked, "Tinu, have you started thinking about what you want to do after school?" The question stayed with her. That evening, Tinu opened a new page in her notebook and wrote boldly at the top, "My future." She didn't have all the answers yet, but she felt peace instead of fear. Folding her hands, she prayed, "Lord, guide me. Help me build wisely and walk in your purpose for my life." The sun rose brightly over Abuja, shining warmly on the spacious compound of Mr. Savior. Today was a day of celebration, a day of gratitude, and a day of family. Lola and Mr. Savior were blessed with another baby, a healthy, beautiful child who had brought joy and renewed hope into their home. The naming ceremony had been scheduled, and it was not only a celebration of life, but also a moment to honor God and the family that had become so important to all of them. Lola, her fiancé Daniel, Tinu, and their mother had traveled to Abuja for the occasion. For the first time in years, the siblings and their mother were together, and the air was filled with laughter, tears of joy and the warmth of love. I can't believe we're finally all together, Tinu whispered to Lola as they helped prepare the decorations. God is faithful, Lola replied, smiling. It's been a long journey, but look at us now. Guests arrived, friends and family alike, but the focus remained on the two families, Lola and Mr. Saviour's household and their biological family, represented by their mother and siblings. The ceremony was beautiful. The baby was dressed in white, symbolizing purity and new beginnings. Prayers were said, songs were sung, and laughter filled every corner of the home. At one point, Mr. Saviour stood before everyone, a warm smile on his face. This child is a blessing to us all, he said. And I want to honor the family that brought us Bayo, Tinu, and Lola. I would like to ask your mother to bring a name for this baby, to add to the names that will be remembered on this ground. Lola's mother, moved to tears, approached the baby. She touched the tiny hands gently and whispered a name that carried love, hope, and faith. A name that symbolized unity and blessing. Everyone cheered and celebrated, the atmosphere overflowing with happiness. For Tinu, the day was especially meaningful. She held the baby in her arms, feeling a deep connection to her siblings and the family that had cared for Bayo all these years. She looked at Lola and whispered, "Ma, this feels like a dream. I'm so glad we're here together." Bayo, quietly observing, felt a swell of gratitude. Though Chief Aidwale and the stepmother were unaware of his current life, he was surrounded by love, family, and God's blessings. The bonds he had formed here in Abuja, alongside the reunion with his mother and siblings, gave him a sense of peace he had longed for. The day passed in joy, stories, laughter, and heartfelt conversations. The two families were now relating as one, united not only by blood but also by love, respect, and shared faith. Lola and Mr. Saviour's new baby had become a symbol of hope, a link between the families and a tangible reminder of God's faithfulness. As the sun began to set, Lola, Daniel, Tinu, Bayo, and their mother sat together, reflecting on the day. God has done so much for us, Lola said softly. This is just the beginning of many blessings. The children, Bayo, Lola, and Tinu, embraced one another tightly, while their mother looked on, tears of joy streaming down her face. After years of separation and challenges, the family had come together in unity and love. It was a perfect reunion, a day of gratitude, blessing, and hope. A day that would be remembered forever. By the start of the new academic session, Tinu Aidwale had fully settled into university life in Lagos. Her days were busy but fulfilling. She woke early for lectures, attended her tutorials, and returned to her accommodation to study, prepare meals, and manage her part-time job. Her confidence had grown tremendously. She navigated campus life with ease, made meaningful friendships, and participated in study groups that helped her excel academically. One evening, she called Lola, her voice bright with excitement. "Ma, I got the results of my first assignment. I did really well." Lola's heart swelled with pride. "Tinu, that's wonderful. I told you, with focus, discipline, and God's help, you can achieve anything. Keep it up." Tinu smiled. "I will, Madot, and thank you for helping me with the fees. I feel so independent and confident now." Meanwhile, in Abuja, Bayo's leadership scholarship and internship were bearing fruit. The small stipend he received allowed him to start supporting Tinu financially for her university needs. Though modest, it gave her an extra cushion for books, transport, and necessities. Bayo also continued to gain recognition at the clinic, with supervisors and colleagues praising his skill, dedication, and humility. Each day, he worked not only to excel personally, but to build a future that could support himself, his siblings, family, and Mr. Saviour's family. One afternoon, he spoke with Lola over the phone. Sister, I sent some funds to Tinu for this month's expenses. I want to make sure she has everything she needs to focus on her studies. Lola smiled warmly. Bayo, thank you. You're growing into such a responsible young man. I am so happy and grateful to God. Back in Abuja, Lola, also known as Adetola, and Mr. Saviour's household continued to thrive. Their new baby was growing healthy and strong, and the couple was overjoyed with their expanding family. Daniel visited regularly, helping Lola plan their upcoming wedding. The bond between the two families remained strong. Lola's mother continued to visit occasionally, and the children's connection with Mr. Saviour's family deepened. Mr. Saviour often remarked, "This family is a blessing. Seeing the three of you, Bayo, Tinu, and Lola together with Timami, makes our hears joyous and home richer and fuller." Lola and Daniel were now making concrete wedding preparations. They already had a small introduction in Mr. Adewale's sitting room. They met with vendors, coordinated with families, and discussed plans for a ceremony that would reflect their faith and love. Despite the busyness, Lola remained attentive to her siblings' progress, ensuring Tinu was supported, and Bayo's internship and scholarship were maximized, and both Daniel and him did not disconnect from church. One evening, Lola reflected